This training is brought to you by Nikon Education Foundation, and all of our trainings are free. We want you to learn and make progress. Thank you for joining us today, and we believe you will have a great time because the facilitator is well prepared for all we have to do today.
I welcome everybody to today's class, the third week of the training, day 6. I believe you have your laptop beside you and your notepad. So let's begin the training. Before I start the training proper, I would like to do two things. Now, the first thing is this. In yesterday's class, a lady was asking a particular question, and she was asking me why am I picking myself from my data from column A, row 6, column A, row 7, column A, row 8, and column A, row 9. She was asking that, why am I picking it like that? You know, yesterday I did nested if function. We use more than one if. That is ifs, more than one ifs. Now, she was asking me that choosing why am I choosing this particular cell? Why am I not choosing it from here? Why inputting it manually? Well, I designed the material this way. And also, if I want to answer the question you asked yesterday, that means if you want me to pick it from this particular row, then it means that I'm going to remove this less than and greater than sign, and then I'm going to put my 50 here. I'm going to put my 50 here, another 50 here, and then 60, and then 80. Now if I want to pick it from row 11, you know, yesterday this was how I did it. I said equals to if, and then I put my logical statement. That is, if this particular person, Williams Brown, is greater than, then I picked my 80. Then I put my comma, then quotation, give it excellent, distinction, pass, and fail. Now, if I would do it the way the lady was asking me, so that means I'm going to come over here after writing my F6, then greater than, then I'm going to come over to this particular cell A14, then I'm going to lock, then I will put my comma, then I will come to, now it's asking value if true. So the value if true is going to be distinction, give it distinction. So I'm not going to work on this material. I'm just trying to explain that if I want to follow the route you said, that is how I'm going to do it. Let me continue my explanation. Now, after picking this particular cell,
excuse me, sir. Hello, sir. I was the one that
I'm
asked
hearing.
the question yesterday. That was not the question I asked. I said instead of picking from row 9, why not start from picking? Why didn't you start from picking from row column 6? That is less than 50. Why did you start from greater than 80?
Okay, I decided to pick it from greater than 80 because I want it to start from excellent, then followed by distinction, followed by pass, and followed by fail. Okay, is that what you are asking?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So
okay, so let me.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. So let me just try to. And again, remember that, let me quickly say this. Remember that you are dealing with, you want to write a logical statement and you want to use greater than, and then you want to use less than. So I think the ideal thing is to start with greater sign before you now start with your less sign. That is the ideal thing. Do you understand? That is the ideal thing. Thank you. So can I continue now? Remember, I said it is ideal
Yes,
thing
sir.
because I'm writing greater than sign. At times the ball can change. I can decide to write equals to. Then I'm not writing greater than this time. I want to use equal. It depends on what I want to do. But I'm saying when it comes to using either greater sign or less than sign, then I think the ideal thing is to start with greater than sign. Thank you. Yesterday, a guy asked a particular question, and I told him yesterday that the question he asked was a big question, that I'm going to get back to him. Yeah, I told him I was going to get back to him yesterday. Now, yesterday he was asking this particular question. The guy said, let's say that, yesterday after working on this particular material, now the guy now said that instead of, we Excel return back to us, um, guy, what about if we find ourselves in a situation whereby we have large data? That is, how do we remove what Excel retrieve back? So now, I yesterday night I made some research on it, and at this moment I'm here to get an answer to it. But I when I was practicing it, I noticed that there is still a way we can go about it when I was practicing it yesterday. So now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to just look at me. I'm going to populate some ifs, can't if, average if, and average ifs. I'm going to do everything now. And then doing after populating this particular table, then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to apply the function. So we are going to see it, and we are going to see how it works. So if peradventure going forward, maybe one can use it that way. So just look at me. Let me quickly populate this. I've already taught you this one yesterday. So I'm not asking anybody question now, and I'm not explaining. I will keep quiet, then I will populate this table. You can just look at my screen the way I'm doing it. When I'm done, then I will talk. Thank you.
We can't hear you, sir.
Please, he has said he's going to be quiet while he's carrying out this task. You are just to watch. He will speak up when he's done.
Okay, thank you for the audience. Now, let me now explain. Now, this guy asked me yesterday. He said this particular stuff, this thing, this Naira DIV, this error sign, and this error, this error, and this error. Now, the guy was asking me yesterday that, let's say we have like 1,000 rows. How are we going to remove this particular error? So I said yesterday I tried to use find and select, this particular function feature. I tried to use it and I realized that it's not, I wasn't getting what I want to see. In other words, I'm not seeing the result of find and select. So I erased this yesterday and I put 0, which is normal. But let's say we have 1,000 of this in a particular, let's say we have 1,000 of this on this particular column, and then 1,000 of this thing on other particular column. How are we going to go about it? Now, yesterday as well, I took this particular material, I imported it to Power Query. Then I tried to make it a Power Query to transform it. When I use Power Query, when this data got to Power Query, this thing changed to error. Then I tried to change the error to 0, but I didn't see any results. So I left Power Query as well. Now I applied if error. Now what about if I make use of if error? Will if error work for this? Now let me try to make use of if error. Now it means that if I'm going to make use of if error, it means I'm going to replicate what is here inside this particular column M. Then I'm going to use if error again to replicate what is here into another particular column. And then I will now change the header, the column header. So now let me try to work on it now. Now I'm going to use equals to if error, and then it's asking me the value. Of course, this is the first thing I want to do. This, okay, let me first do the column K value. Let me do this, and I'll put my comma value if error. Then my value if error, what I'm going to, then my value if error, what I'm going to put is this. I'm going to put, based on the structure of this data, we can just put that not present. Yes, not present. So I'm going to put not present. Not present. Then I'm going to close my bracket. And also, before I fill in this particular cell, I want you to note something. Now, you know, we are not dealing with robots, we are dealing with human being. Now, if you look at this particular error sign, this sign, you will see that I said that Excel already interpreted this thing as a test, not figure. It's seeing them as a test. Now, that's number one. And then the number two now is that, you know, if you look at this data critically, based on what we did, based on what we carried out, we have not actually done any wrong. In other words, we didn't make any mistake on carrying out the function. The reality is this. Now, we got this because when Excel search the table, I don't want to go back to that table. I just want to stay here. When Excel check the table we are looking from, Excel realized that there is nothing to retrieve back. So instead, he gave us this particular error sign. He brought this error sign, So if you look at it critically, I've not done wrong, and the data is not also wrong. There is nothing to retrieve. So Excel brought this. So if I submit, let's say I have a task, let's say I want to deliver this material to my boss. Yes, I can deliver the material. Since he understands Excel very well, I can deliver the material. And when you go through the material, when you go through the task, you will know that I have not even done any wrong, because these people are not inside that table. So we'll have known that there is no record for them. So I will still get my pass mark. Then I've done right. But in this case now, we are saying that, okay, oh, I know you have not done wrong, and I know that the material is okay. You have carried out the task well. But we don't want, you just don't want to be seeing this thing. We don't want to see it. So now get rid of them. Then I'm going to say, then I will make use of my if error, even though I'm not wrong. That will hit my enter. And then I'm going to autofill now. Can you see now? Not present. So it means that I have successfully corrected this particular stuff. Now, instead of my boss seeing this error, is going to see this, and then I can just change the name. I can just say average, or I want to change the header name. I want to look at a suitable name I can give the header. Let me say, okay, nothing is coming to my head at the moment. Nothing is coming to my head. But let me just put average. Let me put average if let me just put average if 2. Nothing is coming to my head, so permit me to just use average if 2. But don't forget that we did something to get this average if 2. Now for the second one, I can also do the same thing. I'm going to use equals to if error, then I'm going to select this particular value. Then I'm going to put my comma. Value if error. And I'm going to put not present here as well. Then I'm going to put my next quotation, then I will close my bracket, then I will hit my enter. Now I'm going to autofill this. Now, can you see now? I have successfully rectified this stuff. What did I do? I used if error to correct this particular stuff. Now, if I present this to my boss, he will still accept it. Now he will know that okay, they are not present in the table. So you use if error to put not present. So I've already done it to a level that at least it is presentable this way. Then I'm going to name it as average ifs 2. I'm going to name it as average ifs 2. Now let me now show you something. Now I'm already done with this. If let's say I have 1,000 of this particular div /div/0 exclamation. Let's say I have the 1,000. That I will do just the first cell, and then it will automatically populate the other and correct them. Same thing to this. So that means that I've been able to get rid of this by using if error. I've done it successfully. So let's say I have it here as well. I will do the same thing here. If I have it here as well, I will do the same thing here. If I have it here as well, I will also do the same thing. So I think to some extent, I've been able to answer the guy's question. Now, I tried yesterday, I tried to copy from some if like this, and then I tried to do it this way, and then I use my equals to, I copied this cell, and then I use my if error, then when he asked value, I copied all these things, then I put comma, and then the error, the if error, what I want to put in front of the value. So at the end of the day, I got wrong results. So that means that it's not working. So it means that if I want it to work, that means I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow this pattern that I did. Well, maybe going forward, maybe there can still be a way one can do it. But this moment, I think that's the way we can go about it. But if going forward, if there is another new way, then I will try to communicate. I will learn it again. Then try to communicate if peradventure there is still that if peradventure we are still going to have another training on advanced Excel. But however, now I've done this and I've done this, then I've removed this stuff. Now let's now say that I want to get rid of this average ifs and then average if. That is, I don't want to see this column any longer, and I don't want to, since I've already replaced them with this and this, and then I don't want to see this column, and I don't want to see this column. How do I go about that? You know that you can present this to your boss, and he will receive it because you have removed the error here, and he can see that you have already done justice to this data. But now, I'm not asking a question that, okay, let's say that we want to move forward again. We want to move a little bit forward. That is, we want to delete this cell, this column, and we only be seeing this. Now, the reality is that if I try to delete this particular column and I delete this particular column, I'm going to lose this data. Why? Because these two data are referencing this data. Now, let me try to delete this from the equation. Now, can you see what you are getting? Not present, not present, not present. You are seeing error. Now, if I delete this as well, you will see the same thing. So that means I've not done it well. Because why? I've deleted the column they are referencing. So what am I going to get? I'm going to get not present, and this is wrong. This is an error itself. Now, I'm going to put it back. Now, so how do I go about it? That I'm going to, okay, how do I go about it? That is, how am I going to go about it? Whereby I'm going to delete this cell, this column, delete this column, and I will not see not present, not present, not present. So that means that I will need to detach the reference. You know, they are referencing each other. So that means that I will need to detach the reference. Now, how do I detach the reference? You know, I taught you. Now, this is what this is what we are going to do. We are going to bring this particular data, this average if 2, then average ifs 2. Now we are going to do it this way. We are going to put equal to. You are going to type your. Let me start with average if 2. Then I'm going to put 1 1, then 5 0 0. Good. And then I'm going to use Control E, which is my flash fill, to populate the other rows. So I will use my Control E, and then okay, I'm coming. I'm coming home. Good. Now, I've used my Control E now to populate this thing, this particular table. I use my Control E to populate this. Now, it brought back my div. Don't forget, we are trying to look at something. Now, let me try to do the other one. That is, let me try to do this as well. I'm coming. I'm showing you. I want to explain something. Let me put my 1,200, 1,000, 12,000, sorry. And then let me try to use control as well. Now it brought back a 0. Now, if you look at this particular cell, this column N, the not present changed to a 0. The not present here also changed to a 0. And the not present here changed to a 0. And then if you look at the second one, which is average if 2, it changed only to it returned back this particular error sign. Now I've successfully detached them. Now let's try to delete them and see if it is going to work this time. So I'm going to delete this particular cell. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete this one as well. And then I'm going to delete this as well, the not present. Now, good. Now, I have successfully deleted everything. Now, I've detached them from, okay, I think it remained this. I'll delete this one as well. Now, I have successfully deleted them, and also I've successfully detached the referencing. So there is nothing like referencing any longer. So, which means that I can change back my column header and put average if, then I will remove the sum ifs and I'm going to put my average ifs. And then I've already replaced it. Excel has automatically replaced it with 0, 0, and 0. Then I can just come down here, then delete this manually, then put 0. Now, I've already detached them. Then I can put my average if, then average ifs, and then turn it to a table. Good. Now, lastly, let me quickly say this lastly before I move to the next thing we have for today. Now the truth is that I will just prefer that we stay on the one we did the other time. That is that we are seeing the not present. I think it is safer to stay on that. The not present. We can stay on that. Do you understand? So you might decide not to detach the reference. You can leave the table as well. Anybody you present it to, they will definitely know that you have worked on the data, even though what you have done is not wrong. The formula is not that it is wrong, just because you want to just correct that cell. So I think it is preferable to stay with the not present than doing the route of flash fill to detach, and then you rename the column header, and then you put it inside, you put your grid to make it a table. So I think one can just stay on that one than coming to this route. So lastly, for now, this is how we can achieve the task. Just use your if error and then call out the value, autofill, put any word you want to put there, then hit your enter, and then you can use it to correct the error. Then you come to the next column, do the same thing, next column. Even if this column, if the rows are 1 million, when you successfully do one, it will populate the rest. And if you present it to your boss, you have not done wrong, you have done the right thing. So for now, you can just stay on that. Thank you very much. So we are moving to the next material we are having today. Okay, now let's move to we've done this yesterday. Let's move to chose 2. Now, remember yesterday I did this and I said something. I said there is a way we can achieve our index number here, whereby we will not need to pick our number, be selecting the number manually, that we can use drop-down list to populate this particular cell that I formatted. And then when I click it, it will populate the result here. That is, this result will come down here. If you could remember yesterday. Now, before we do that, I want us to go into data validation. Now, let's move from data validation. We will now go back. Now, there is something I want to teach you here before we now move to that particular function. I mean, choose. Now, what is data validation? Well, we use data validation to restrict user input into our spreadsheet. I repeat again, we use data validation to restrict users input into our spreadsheet. Now look at this particular table. Then I have 3 columns table. I have name, I have training days, I have allowances. Now, if you look at the name is a test, right? It's not a figure, neither a value. Name is a test. Now, if you look at training date is not a test as well. Training date is date, and date is figure. If you look at allowances cannot be test. Allowances is also a figure. So now I want to go into data validation. Now I want to validate row 6 to row 21. And this is what I want to do. What I want to do is that I want to ensure that I want to restrict what people will enter into this particular row 6 to row 21. Now, let's say that I want people to put just 6-letter words. That means if your name is 10-letter words, you will not be able to input 10-letter words here. You will need to obey what I have done. I have restricted you from putting 10-letter words. I have restricted you from inputting 10-letter words. I want you to put 6-letter words into this particular cell. So I can use data validation to do this, to restrict you from entering 10-letter words. So how do I go about that? The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to select my column 6 I'm going to select my row 6 to row 21. That's the first thing to do. Then I'm going to come to my data. This is my data. Then I'm going to come to here, text to column. Then I'm going to click data validation. Now, you will notice something. You will notice Excel is asking me any value. Any value simply means that you can input anything here. When I mean any value is any value. That means you can put let me say that your name, if it is 100 letters word, then you can put 100 letters here. 100 letters, you can put it here. Now your name is Tony, Ogunjobi, Taiwo, Michael, Adams, letters of words, then you can input it here, any value. But this time, I'm not setting any value. I don't want you to just input anything. I want to restrict what you're going to input here. So it means that I'm going to come to, okay, that's for any value. Now there's another one, whole number. Whole number just means figure. That means if I want to deal with input that deals with figures, then I'm going to come to whole number. Also decimal. You still talk about figure. You can still leave list for now. Then date. This date, we are going to make use of it when we want to populate. We are going to look at this date when I want to restrict users input into my column C. Time, there's also time, there is test length. Now this is where we are coming to test length. Remember I said when you hear test, it means words, not figure. Now test length, not whole number, not any value this time. Test length, they are normally used for words. Now I'm going to click on test length. Now it's asking me, if you look at this drop down list, this arrow, if I click it, there are many things here. We have not between, equal to, not equal to, greater than. Of course, this will go for figures. Okay, good. But I don't want this. Now it's asking me test length. Now let me come back to this again. Let me re-explain this. Now, between, that is between this and this, not between, equal to, not equal to. So here, test length can allow us to pick to, it can allow us to use figure. We can use figure since you are saying greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. When you see something like this, you will know that is dealing with figures to some extent. Now, I'm going to use between this time. Now I'm going to say minimum. I'm going to say minimum of 5. I'm going to say maximum of 6. Now, that's number 1. Now, if I say okay, then I will execute my task. But now, I'm not saying okay this time. I want to input a message. And this message is going to be a guide, such that whenever any user wants to input anything, the message will guide that person that, oh, do it like this, do it like that, do it this way. Now, I'm going to come to my input message. Now, here, I'm going to put instruction. I'm going to put instruction here. And then input your message. I will just say, kindly input the message. I will put kindly input 6, kindly input 5 to 6 letter word. Kindly input 5 to 6 letter word. Now, I'm going to, instead of hitting okay, okay means that you are done, but I'm not done. I'm going to come to error alert. Error alert means that, okay, what if this person inputs wrong thing? What should we do? Well, I will just tell Excel to tell that person stop. I can use stop, I can use warning, and I can use information, but I will go with stop. And I'll come to my title. What is the title? I will say, I will put, I will just put warning. Let me use warning as my title. And then error message. Here in my error message, I will just put kindly follow. I will say kindly follow the instruction. Kindly follow the instruction. Good. Then I'm done with everything. And I will say okay. Now, what do you see here? Kindly put 5 to 6 letter word. Kindly put 5 to 6 letter word. Now, let me try to put 3. Let me try to put 4. I will just put Mike. Let's see what will happen. What do you see? Kindly follow the instruction. In ordinary speaking, if you look at kindly input 5 to 6 letter word, then you should have known that, oh, this is the instruction. Let me just try to obey the instruction. If not, Excel will not allow me to go. Now look at my error alert. Kindly follow the instruction. Now I want to retry. Now I'm going to put, I want to input, I think Michael. Let me try to write my name. Michael. This should be 4. This 7. I don't want. Let me just try to put Michael. Okay. Then I will hit my enter. Can you see now? Excel allowed me because I followed the instruction. If you count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 letters. This 6 letters. 6 letters word. Now, you will see that if I want to populate, if I want to fill my row 7, you will do it accordingly. You will not just come and just say, no, my name, I have like my name, in fact, I have 21 letters. Well, if your name, if you have 21 letters, that is your name includes 21 letters, then Excel will not allow you to input it. So what I have just done is that I have restricted what people can input on this particular column. So this is what is called data validation. This is what is called data validation. Now, if you look at all this cell, you will see it there. You will see it there. You see it there. See this place, you will see it there. Kindly input 5 letters word. Sorry. That's supposed to be here. Now, training dates. Let's try to work on training. Okay. Before we, okay. Let me do this before I show you how to clear your data validation. Now, let's say we want to have a training between 4/9/2024. That is today. Today is 9. And then April 2024. The first thing you are going to do is that you are going to validate. You are going to select. That's the first thing. Then you come to your data validation. Then data validation. Now, you come down to, you come down here. Sorry, I'm coming. You come down here. Clear this. Now you come back to your settings and then you select the arrow. Now we are dealing with date this time, training date. And I will come to my dates. This is what I want to work on. Then I will pick. Now it's asking me between what? Now I'm going to use today's date. I'm going to say 4/9. Today is 9/2024. Between 4/9/2024 and what will be my end date? I'm going to put 4/ let me use 12/2024. Now, it's asking me input message. Remember the way I did this. Now, this time I'm not going to input any message because of time. We still have a few things to look at today. I'm not going to input any message yet. Now, error alert. I'm not going to use my error alert as well. I'm not going to put anything here. I want Excel to do it automatically because of time. But that's how to go about it anyway. If you want to use your input message and error alert, then you will set it yourself. But I'm not doing it. So I will just say, okay. Now let me try to put today's date here. 4/9/2024. I hit my enter. Excel allowed me. Now, let me try to put 4/15/2024. You know that this date is outside what I have set in. Remember, I've restricted what people will put in here. So I'll hit my enter. What do you see? This value doesn't match the data validation restriction defined for this cell. Retry. So until you put the correct date here, Excel will not allow you to go. Why? Because I have already restricted what you are going to import here. Okay, now let me move to allowances. Now, the first thing is that I'm going to select this And then I'm going to come to my data validation, and then I don't want to use any value. Okay, then I will come down here. Then I will pick O number. Allowances should be from what? I want it to be from $50. Oh, sorry. It should be from $50 to minimum of 50, maximum of. I'm not going to use input message, and I'm not going to use error alert because. Okay. Now let me try. What did you see? This value doesn't match data validation restrictions. Define for this cell. Retry. Now I'm going to put 51. It enters. I'm going to put 99. Oh, sorry. Let me quickly correct this. I'll come down to my home, 8, general, then come back to my 99, and then let me try to input 100, and let me input 101. This value doesn't match data validation restriction. Define for this cell. Retry. Okay, now. Okay, now you have seen as an Excel user, you can make use of this dynamic feature in Excel to restrict inputs, to input users' input into your spreadsheet. So you can control your spreadsheet. Yes, you can restrict, and you can even lock it. Remember, you can do it. So now let me try to clear this thing. How do I clear? I will come down here. Let me see if I can clear. Okay, let me clear it one after the other. I will come down here. I will come to my data, and then I will come to my data validation. Now, I've cleared it already. If you type, you will not. Let me try to type my surname. Olufemi. This is like 4, 5, 6, 7. Enter. It will. Why? Because I've already removed the restriction. Now, this one as well. Let me see if we can clear everything at the same time. Data validation. Let me just clear all. I'm not sure if it will work. Let me try if it will work. Because this time I'm not doing it one by one. Let me put 2024. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, let me put $200. It worked. So I've removed my restriction from the table. Then you can input anything. That is data validation. Now let's move to the next table. Now this one is custom and list. This one will take our time, but I will try to rush it. It will take our time, but let me just try to rush it, and I will just be giving you. I will give you some function here. You just write it in your book, and you can practice it on your own when you are learning. Now look at custom here. Now if you look at this custom, how are we going to go about custom? How can we make use of custom? This time custom is different. Custom, what we normally use custom to do is that it allows you to restrict your table, a column in the table, by using function. You write the function out. Are you getting me now? You will write it out. You will write it out. And then what you write out is what you are going to input here. So if you're able to do this, it means you have used custom for your validation. Now let's try to see how it works. I'm going to select this column, and then we are going to come to data validation. Now, what do I want to do here? What I want to do is that I want this my column to be just, that is, what I want people to put here is only text. You remember text is not figure, words. I want only text on this particular column. So I'm going to select, and I'll come to my data validation. And I'm going to start again. And I'm going to come to custom. Can you see custom here? You select custom. Then it's asking us write out the formula. I haven't called it function. Sorry, formula. So you will be the one to write out the formula. So now the formula for writing, the formula for test is this. You just write equal to is test, T-E-X-T. Are you getting it? Are you seeing it? Is test, and then you will open your brackets. After opening your bracket, the next thing you are going to put is your cell, the name of the number of the cell. Now, if you look at this cell, this H6, if you look at it, column H, row 6, that's what I'm going to put here. So I'm going to, let me cover this. Since you are done with this, then let me cover this one. So I'm going to put H6 here. I'm going to put my H and then 6. I'm going to close my bracket. I'm going to close my bracket, and the next I'm going to type my enter. Now, let me try to put figure here. 4, 5, 6, 7, and let me hit my enter. What do you see? This value doesn't mind the data validation restriction defined for this cell. Retry. So let me put a test. Let me put Wale, then hit enter. Can you see? It will enter. This is a test. So in data validation, when you want to use custom feature, your formula for test is going to be equal is test. Open your brackets, then the first row in question. Remember that first row is always a big D in Excel. So the first row in question, the cell, you put it inside the bracket, then you hit your enter. Are you there? Good. Now I'm going to use another function here called left on this particular column, left. So how do I go about that? I'm going to select again. I'm going to come to my data validation. I'm going to say clear all, and I will start again. I will put my custom, then I will write my formula for left. Now, left means that I want anything my user are going to input. I want it to start from this. I want it to start from left and then this particular alphabet. If it starts from left and you put another alphabet, Excel will not allow you to enter. But it will start from left, plus it will also start with this particular letter. So letter or alphabet. Now let me type it. Equals to left, and then I'm going to open my bracket. What is it? H6. Remember the cell H6. I'm going to cover my bracket. I'm going to put equal to. Then I want it to start from A. I'll put my quotation, and I will put A. Then I will close my quotation, and I will hit OK. Now let me try to start with W-A-L-E. Let's see if it will enter. It will not enter. It's expecting me to start from A. I will retry again. Let me put apple. Can you see? It enters. This is apple. Left, and then starting, and then the starting letter is A. Apple. Apple. So now, if you want your letter to start from, if you want to use another formula called right, so that means what you are saying is that you are restricting this particular column such that the word will start from right, and then the letter will end with this particular letter, just like the first one. I set the letter that starts from A. Then for the right will also be, it will start from right. That's the function, right formula, and then it will end with A. So it will end with A, or particular alphabet I said. So the formula for right, please write this one. I'm not going to do that one. The formula for right is this: equal right. Everybody write equal right. Open your brackets. Put the cell. The cell will be H6, depending on the cell you are working on. The cell. Close your bracket. Close your bracket, and then put your equal sign again. Then the letter. That's that. Now, let's say another thing we can. Oh, time. Okay, now let me rush the function. Now, the formula. Write this one down for you to, if you want to use your uppercase, that is, you want it to start with uppercase, that everything will be uppercase. Everybody write for uppercase. I won't be able to do it because of time. Equal, exact, open your bracket, the cell in question, H6, close your bracket, open your bracket, sorry, the cell in question, put your comma, upper, open another bracket, put that same cell in question, then close your bracket 2 times. I will repeat again. For you to use uppercase, what you are going to do is that you write your equal sign, exact, open bracket, the first cell, comma, write your upper, open bracket, that cell again, close the bracket, and then close the bracket. So you are going to have double brackets. That's for uppercase. For lowercase, do the same thing. Is equal to exact, open the bracket, your cell, H6. It might not be H6 when you are doing it though, but I'm using my own cell, H6, comma, put your lower, open your bracket, put that cell, then you close your bracket twice. I repeat again, for lower, equal to exact, open your bracket, your cell, comma, lower, open your bracket, that cell again, then close the bracket twice. That is for the upper case. Are you there? Okay, good. Now let's say that you want to input only number, that you want this column to be only number, that you don't want text, just number. What is the formula? Write this formula down. Is equal, I can't do it because of time. We still have few things we want to look at today. Equals to is number, again, equal to is number, open your bracket, the cell, close your bracket, then enter. To restrict, to allow people to input just only number. This is the formula again. Equal to is number, open your bracket, the cell, close your bracket, close your bracket, then enter. That's for the number. So I think let me move to the next column, which is date. But before I move to the next column, which is date, let me try to use another formula here, that is to control the amount of letters that people can input here. Here we use text length. Now, how can we customize text length here? How can we use custom for text length here? Let me quickly do it here. Let me do it. I'm going to clear this data validation. I'm going to clear all, and then I'm going to start again. For my test length, you know, when we did the other table, we used this test length. Now we are not using it here. We want to use it in another dimension. Then I will click my custom, and I will put my, oh, sorry, there is something I need to do. I'm supposed to remove this stuff. Yes. I've already cleared it the other time, so I don't need to clear again. Oh, I will need to re-clear. Clear all. Now let's start again. Custom. I want to use my test this time, not test length. I want to write out the formula. So to write the formula, how will I go about it? Equals to, and open your brackets. Then I'm going to type is test. Can you see is test? I'm going to open another bracket. And I'm going to this cell is H6. I'm going to put my H6. I'm going to put my H6. I'm going to close my bracket. I will put my comma, and then I'm going to open another bracket. I'll put my length. That will be LEN, length. Then I'll put my length, LEN. Then after putting my length, I'm going to open another bracket. I'm going to put my H6 again, H6. After putting my H6, I'm going to close my bracket. Then I'm going to set it now. What did I want to set? Lesser than 6 or less than 6, not greater than, less than 6. That means I'm expecting 1 to 5. I'm expecting 5-letter word. So I'm expecting 5-letter word. So I'm going to put less than 6. After putting less than 6, I'll close my brackets. I'll close my brackets. So before I hit my enter, I want everybody to see and quickly write it down. Is equal to, and open your bracket, is test, open your bracket, the cell, close your bracket, put your comma, open another bracket, your length, open another bracket, that same cell, close the bracket, put your less than sign, your 6, close the bracket, then close the bracket. And I will say, okay. Now, let's try to practice. Let's try to input something here. Let me input my surname, Olufemi. This is more than 6 now. And I said less than 6. That will be 5. Let me hit enter. Enter. What do you see? This value does not match data validation restriction defined for this cell. Retry. So I won't retry because of time. So let's leave that one now. But I've already given you the formula. Let's move to dates. Now, remember the other date we did? We looked at the first date. Now, this date, this time now, I'm going to customize this date. Now, how will I go about it? This is what I want to do. I'm first going to put my date here, 4/9, then 2024. This is today's date. Now, I'm going to put today's date here. Now, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come down to this cell, this column N, row 6. Then I'm going to write out a formula. I'm going to call out a function. That function is weekday is equal to weekday. I'll put my comma, serial number. This is my serial number. This particular date. I'm going to put my comma. Then I'm going to put, it's asking me return type. I want it to return between Monday through Sunday. That will be 2. Then I will click this. Then I'm going to close my bracket. Now, the next thing I want to do is that I'm going to use less than 6. I'm going to put less than 6. This less than 6. What is the meaning of this function, and how can we go about, how can I make use of this? Good. Now, is equal to weekday. Then I selected today's date, and then I picked between Monday through Sunday. Then I put less than 6. So this is what I'm trying to say. What I want to do is that I want to restrict this particular column high. that has dates. I want to restrict it such that any user that will input his or her date, any user that will put his or her date, that date must be between Monday through Friday. If it is greater than Saturday, if it is greater than 5, then that will be Saturday. Then it will reject it. It will reject it. So when I say less than 6, that will be Monday to Friday. That's less than 6. Less than 6. You won't count Saturday to it. If I say less than 7, that will be Monday through Saturday. If I say greater than 3, that means we start from greater than 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It will be out of it. Greater than 3 will now start from Thursday through Sunday. So that's how to go about it now. Then I will hit my enter. Now, can you see now true? Why am I saying true? Well, I'm saying true because if you look at today's date, today is 9. And what is the day? It's Tuesday now. So it falls into what I want to see. Right? I said lesser than 6. And Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it will be between that. So that's why you are seeing true. If I change this thing if I change it to Saturday, the date you are going to pick on Saturday, if I put it here, you say that this thing will change to false. But that's not where I'm going anyway. I want to restrict this particular color. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this cell, this formula. I'm going to use Ctrl+C to copy. I've copied it now. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this. And I'm going to clear this as well. Good. And then I'm going to copy this. Then I will go to my data validation. I'm going to come down to my data validation. I will come to my custom again. Then I will paste this particular formula. Then I will say okay. Now, if you mistakenly put any date any date that doesn't fall to Monday to Friday, Microsoft Excel it will restrict you. It will not allow you because I've already validated this particular color. So let me try to put Saturday here. Saturday should be Friday is 12. Then Saturday should be 13. Yes, 13. So now let me try to put 13. 4/13/2024. Now we hit my enter. What do you see? This value doesn't match data validation restriction defined for this cell. Retry. So it means that if I put any date that is above what I have said, it will not enter. But if you put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, January 1, 2024, so far it is Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, if you put it, it will accept it. Do you understand? So that's that. I don't want to put, okay, let me just put a right date here so that you can see. I'm trying to rush this particular feature, but let me be calm and let me try to put, tomorrow is 10, right? Tomorrow is 10. Let me just put 10. 4/10/2024. Enter. Can you see? Because tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Yes. So it will accept. Anything above, it will reject. That's good. Let's move to weekday. Weekday. Now, how do we go about weekday? Now, to use weekday, what you are saying is that let's say you want to validate this sheet such that you only want your user to put only a particular day in a week. Monday is 1, Tuesday 2, Wednesday 3, Sunday 7, Saturday 6. So if anybody puts anything outside what you have put, it will reject it. Now, let's try to work on this as well. and I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to come to my data validation. I'm going to come to custom. And what am I going to put? What's the formula? The formula is weak. Is weak. Is weak. So how am I going to put it? I'm going to say equals to weekday, equal to weekday, and then what is my cell? My cell is H. Oh, sorry. This time is my cell is J. My cell is J6. 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 Close my brackets. And I'll put my equal sign. Then I'll put, let's use Friday 5. Now we hit my OK. So let me try to put 1 and let's see. What do you see? This value doesn't match the data validation restriction. Cancel. So I want people to put the exact date, which is 5. So if I put 5, it will enter. Now, remember that when we are doing this, I did not set any message. I didn't set any message and I did not set any alert. I didn't do it because of time. You can actually set it. Do you understand? That is, you can set it such that when people see that instruction, that 5, what you ought to put is Friday, which is 5. When they see that instruction, then they will be able to follow it. But I didn't put instruction and I didn't put error alert. I just allow it to do it automatically because I'm actually rushing because of time. That's why you didn't see me that I didn't use it here. I didn't use it here and I didn't use it here. So let's move to allowances. Allowances means figure, just like this. You know, this one we use between $50 to $100. This time we are going to use formula to get this. So how are we going to go about this? I'm going to select again, and then I'm going to come to my data validation, and then I'm going to clear this, clear all. Then I will start again. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come to my custom, and I'm going to type my formula. What's going to be my formula? Equal to sum, then open my brackets. What is it? What is my, which column am I validating? Column K, of course. K6 to K what? To K21. K6 to K21. That's what I'm doing. So what am I going to type? I'm going to type K6, then you put your K21. 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 Good. Then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to close my brackets, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to put my greater than or equals to 50. Now, before I hit my OK, what am I doing? Okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. Now, what I want to do is that I want to validate this sheet to restrict people from putting just any figure. Now, I set a formula here. Now, my formula is sum K6 to K21 greater than equal to 50. In other words, what I'm saying is that I'm saying allow any number that is greater than or equal to 50, allow them to populate this particular column. Anyone that is below what I have put, don't allow them. So I ought to put input message and error, but because of that, I'm not doing that. So that means what I'm expecting to see here is 51, 50 above. If it is below, then I should not see it. If I input any number below 50 and it enters, then there is an error here, but because it ought not to enter. So let me hit my OK, and let's see. Let's start from 51 and let's see. Can you see 51? Let me put 50 and let's see 50. Then let me try to put 49. What do you see? This value doesn't match data validation restrictions. Divine for this cell. Cancel. Now, can you see now that I have already used my custom to set my allowances? It's a formula. It's a formula. It's sum, open bracket, A1 to A11, close the bracket. And again, you can use any formula. You can use any formula, of course. You can use any formula. But just ensure that you know what you are doing. Don't just say, okay, I just want to use this, I just want to type. You know now, you are not just doing it anyhow. You want to do it in a way that people will understand what you are explaining, what you have just done. So you can use any formula. You might use equal to sum. Then you might say okay, equal to 50, okay, greater than or lesser than. You can just know the formula you are doing, and just understand what you are doing, so that when you are told to explain, then you'll be able to explain, not just to input formula, but to be able to explain what you have just done. Okay, good. Now let's move to country. Now here we have country. Oh God, time. Oh. Okay, here we have country, and we also have dress code. Now this is what we want to do here. Now we want to use list. We want to use list such that we are going to put a button here. This is what this button is going to do. Now, instead of people to come and input their country, one after the other, they can just click the button and the country will pop out, and they will just select and it will input it. It will pop up, and it will just appear here. Do you understand? So I'm going to validate this particular column, and I'm going to restrict what people are going to input. So that means that any country that is not inside what I have validated, any country that is not inside it, you cannot even input the country manually. You can't input the country manually. You don't have any choice than to follow my validation, what I have validated. You don't have any choice than to follow it. Do you understand? That's why the definition is restricting users from inputting anything inside the spreadsheet. So after today's data validation, after today's training, you can start using data validation. If by venture you are working in an organization, depending on the task you want to do, you can validate the sheet. You can validate the sheet. Now, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to select, copy down. I'm going to select, sorry. I'm going to come to my test column. Now, after coming to test column, I'll click data validation. I'll click data validation. I'm going to clear this, clear all. And I'm going to start again. Now, come down here. I'll come to my list. After coming to my list, it's asking the source. Where is the data? Okay, the data is here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to search the data. Now, this is my data here. This is my data here. Now, so I'm going to select this country. Then I'm going to hit enter. Then I will say okay. Now, let's say I want my students to fill their country. So instead of filling it manually, you will just come down here. You just click the arrow. Are you from Nigeria? Yes. You click Nigeria. You come down here again. The second student, you come down here. I'm from Cameroon. You click Cameroon. Come down here again. You click. I'm from Mali. You click your Mali. You come down here again. I'm from Nigeria. You click Nigeria. That's how you continue to fill it. So instead of filling it manually, you will just use this drop down, select your country, and hit your enter. Then it will appear here. Now let's move to the dress code. Then the dress code again, I'm going to use my list. I'm going to select this particular column. Then I'm going to come to my data validation. Come to my data validation here. Then I will come and select my list. Right? I'm going to go to my source. Where is the source of my data? Same material, same data. Then I'll come to dress code. I'll click. Then we hit my enter, and then okay. Now your dress code for during the program or during the class, what is your dress code? Or what was your dress code? So, well, during the class, I put on native, and I'll click my native. The second student, come down here, my own, I put on business casual. I click. The other person, click, former. You come to this again, come down here, you drop down, mine, I put on casual, like that. That's how you will be picking. That's how everybody will be picking his or her own. So that's that on list under data validation. Now, so far so good. I've taught you how to make use of data validation. Remember, I was telling you yesterday, I said it's going to take a whole lot of time. I said it yesterday that it will take a whole lot of time. And this is part 6 already. Now, let's move to chose. Now, remember, I said that we can do something here whereby we are going to put a button here, whereby when you press the button, and then 1 will show, 2 will show. That's data. We'll go to data validation tool. We'll go to that list feature. Then we are going to use it here. The reason why I decided not to teach you this yesterday, not to use it yesterday, I decided not to do it yesterday because I wanted us to do data validation first. So use that list to teach you how to make use of list. And then now coming down here to come and do it. Now it will now make sense now, right? It will make sense now. So now let's try to do it. So I'm going to put my cursor here. This is where I want to validate. And then I'm going to come to my data validation. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come to list. And then source is asking the source. Actually, this is my source. Come to my source here. Then I will hit my enter. Now we hit OK. You see now, then I can select 1. Put my 1 here. So I decided not to do this one yesterday because we are here to do data validation. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. Now we are coming down again to come and do it. Now, let's now use our function. Remember chose, right? Chose, good, or choose, anyone. Now, equal to choose. And it's asking our index number. What's our index number? Of course, this will be our index number. I'll put my comma, value 1. This is my value 1. I will click, then I will lock it twice. Remember, locking 1, 2. I'll come to Congo. I will click 1, 2. I'll come to South Africa. I will click 1, 2. I'll come to Algeria. I will click 1, 2. I'll come to Cameroon. I will click 1, 2. I will come to Sudan. I will click 1, 2. I will come to Egypt. I will click 1, 2. Then I will come to Zambia. I will click 1, 2. And then I will close my bracket and I will hit my enter. Can you see? this is what I was trying to do the other time. I've successfully used my index number here. Now I'm going to use the formula again. I'm going to call out the function again. Choose is equal to choose. Now I did it the other time and I got the result, but not the real result. Now I noticed the reason being that I didn't put the comma here. You will see that the Excel puts index number, they is expecting me to put comma and then comma, comma, comma. So just one little mistake, it might jeopardize everything you are doing. So now this time I won't forget to put the comma here. Value 1, then I will come to Nigeria, then I will lock it twice. 1, 2, comma. Value 2, I'll come to Congo, and I will lock it twice. 1, 2, comma. Value 3, I will come to South Africa, then I will lock it. 1, 2, comma. Value, and I will value 5, I will come to Cameroon, and I will lock it. 1, 2, comma. Value 6, I will come to Sudan, and I will lock it. 1, 2. Value 7, I will come to Egypt, and I will lock it. 1, 2. And then value 8, I will come to Zambia, and I will lock it. 1, 2. And then I will close my okay. Now, so let me start from 1, Cameroon, and then 2, Congo, 3, then we have South Africa, 4, we have Algeria. So if I keep typing my stuff, I will continue to see each country, and that's that. And also remember I told you that at times you might not want to lock it with F4. You can also, okay, I think this particular material, yes, you can pick Nigeria, use your quotation, pick Congo, use your quotation, pick South Africa, use your quotation. The way I taught you yesterday. Then if you want to lock as well, you can also lock. All right, now let's move to forecasting. Now, oh, time. I'm sorry. I think we are going to end when I'm done with this. We are going to end it here for this week. So next week we are going to continue from where I stopped. Now let me quickly do this forecast, and then we end it for today. Now, if we look at my data, this particular material, you will see here, and then you will see electricity subscription. Now, if you look at row 2, row 3, row 4, you will see year. And then if you look at column B, you will see value, $10, $15 electricity subscription. So 2005, the subscription was $10. 2006 is jumped to $15. 2007 is jumped to $20. 2008 is jumped to $25. 2009 it jumped to $30. Like that, it kept increasing. 75, 80, 1995. From 1895. From 2013 to 2014, it increased by 10, I think 15, by 15. Now look at this. Now in 2021, the electricity subscription increased to $160, and then in 2022 it increased to $180. With it, if you look at the margin, 20, 180 minus 160 to give you 20, so it increased by 20. Now we want to use forecast function to forecast the price of what the price of electricity subscription will be in the year 2030. That is, I want to forecast 2030. That is electricity subscription. What will be the price we'll be paying for electricity in the year 2030? Don't forget that I've jumped from 2022 now. Now there is only like 2020. I don't have 2023 yet, not 2024. I only have 2030. So how do I go about that? Well, I'm going to make this cell active. I mean this row 20. I'm going to put my equal sign. Then I'm going to type my function forecast. I will call it out. This is my forecast. Now target date. So what's going to be my target date? Of course, my I'm going to pick 2030. Then I'm going to put my comma. And it's asking me values. What is the forecast going to depend on? Which trend is the forecast going to look? Which trend is it going to look from to give me my results? And then I'm going to come down to this particular column B. Is going to be my values. This is what forecast is like. You are looking onto something to retrieve something. Here we are not retrieving this time. I use that word. You are not retrieving this time. What we are just doing is that we are looking from the value. We are looking from the value that is the trend of the electricity subscription in the year 2005 to the year I put. So we are looking from 2005 to 2022. Then I will put my comma. Then it's now asking me the timeline. What is the timeline? Of course, my timeline is going to be the year. And this one, I'm going to select my timeline. I'm going to copy it down to here. I will release my hand, and then I'm going to close my bracket. So after closing my bracket, what will be the next thing? The next thing is to hit your enter, and I will hit my enter. So it means that in the year 2030, people will pay 285.37 US dollar for their electricity bill in the year 2030. I have actually forecast. So when you are hearing forecast, you are forecasting something that what will happen this particular, it's like forecast that you are predicting. Yeah, let me say predicting. Now, okay, let me predict what will happen in so year. Let me predict the amount of our electricity bill. So it means that it might eventually fall to what you have predicted or what you have just forecasted. What you have the forecasting you have done, it might eventually fall into it, and it might not. Do you understand? But forecasting will depend on a trend, and this is our trend, these particular values, right? And they will also depend on the years that the previous electricity bill that you paid the year. It will depend on that, and then you will now run your forecasting. Now we have been able to see that in the year 2030, people will be expecting to pay $285.37 US dollar for their electricity subscription. Okay, lastly, let's now say that you want to forecast for this just a year. Now 2023, 2024, 2025, they are inside this 2030 now. You just pick 2030. That I see 2023, 2024, 2025 to 2030. Now let's now say that you are in a situation whereby you are given a tax, and the tax is that we want you to forecast from let's say from 2030. Now, it's not going to be just ordinary a year now, not accumulation or not total sum of a particular year, not total of a particular year now. Now, what you want to do now is that you want to forecast based on each year. That is, you have 2016, you want to forecast what will happen, what will be the relationship in 2016, what will be the relationship in 2017, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Like, you want to forecast like from row 12 to row 19. How do we go about that? How? Well, if we are going to carry out that forecasting, that means you are not going to use this particular function. And we are going to use another function to carry out that kind of forecasting. Are you there? So I think next week we are going to start from there. We are going to start from there next week. So before I end my class, I just want to quickly recap, as usual now, what I taught today. Today, we looked at JOS, and also we looked at data validation, and we also looked at forecast. So we looked at 3 materials today. 3 materials. Actually, I thought I would finish my material, then we will now enter into data visualization next week. But you know, Microsoft Excel is not something you can rush. You can't rush it. I wouldn't say because I want to finish the material, I will just be rushing. I will not touch what I need to touch. You know, I'm imparting knowledge. So pardon me for today. Pardon me for today, for the way I explained, and we are able to cover just 3 materials. Pardon me for today. Next week, by God's grace, I trust God that on Monday I should be able to finish this material, and then on Tuesday we'll be able to enter data visualization. We're going to enter pivot table, look at everything anything that has to do with pivot table, data visualization. We're going to look at everything next week. So next week we are going to start from forecasting. Then we are going to look at VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So we are going to look at index match. So we are still going to look at few functions, and then we move into data visualization. I think I'm done with the class for week 3, day 6. Thank you for the audience. Next week, we continue the training, which is going to be week 4, day 7. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you. I'm done.